What's up, everybody? Let's do some drafting again. That's right, we're getting ready for 2024. I mean, it is 2024. Why not get ready for the 2024 fantasy football season? Because we're looking ahead, not behind. Last season is over. Already, you're hearing news about the draft, free agency. All these changes are going to happen. So let's see how that's impacting early drafts. We're going to mock, as we're going to do every week, all the way up until week one starts. And what's the breakdown today? We did one last week already. It's a 10-teamer. Looks like we're going 10-team again, but a little different.
Yeah, 10-team. Keep it a little small these days since it is early in the off season here. Or I should say, it's not even the off season. It's the 2024 fantasy football season, but it's early in the season. So keeping a small 10-teamer. We're going to do a half PPR tonight. We did full PPR last time. We'll do a half PPR tonight. Same settings otherwise. 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 5 bench spots, 6 bench spots. I don't remember, something like that. No kicker, no defense though.
That's all you need to say. No kickers, no defense still. So there you go. If you're on, we're gonna fill this thing up pretty quickly. So if you want to get your draft on, get some practice in early, here's your chance. Draft with us. And look, first of all, it's fun because it's drafting. You know this.
Yep.
Everybody loves drafting, and you get a good sense of how you value players because you might be surprised when you feel like, I like this guy better than this guy, and then you find yourself, doing something different when it comes time to actually pull the trigger. So I find I honestly learn a lot about how I value players just from doing these because I might say, well, AJ Brown is still a first rounder. I'm not going to take, Garrett Wilson ahead of him. And then it comes time to pick. I'm like, am I really taking AJ Brown? Maybe I'm not. So there you go. The link is up. Got a couple spots left. It's going to fill up quick today, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to fill up pretty quick today. 2 spots left, stuck in the middle. Anthony, what's up? Last spot. Who's going to get it?
Always the middle. Always the middle. Yeah, nobody likes the middle, and I don't blame you. I gave myself a 9 because I think I drafted early last time. I was like at the 3, so I'm going late. You, of course, random number generated number 2.
Yeah, which is perfect because last time I was 8, and I was like, okay, hopefully I'll get a number closer to the early spot. I did. I got 2. All right. Oh, no. Looks like somebody just moved. So now we have team 4 available. Nope. Now we have team 6 available. Team 6 available.
What is up, Anthony? He's in the house. Yeah, not the usual. It's half PPR, so just keep that in mind. Not a huge change. Of course, we're not doing standard, but half PPR today.
Yeah, everything else the same. 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 QB, 1 tight end, 1 flex, but half PPR, not full.
There you go.
All right, team 6 is still available. Who's going to take it?
Don't make me do it. I'll take it if I have to. If someone really wants the 9, but
I can't imagine there's somebody out there like, I would join this draft, but it's team 6. I don't really.
Yeah, right. Also a good point, Arjun. Yeah, the ADP. All right, let's talk ADP. It's just not going to be. I don't even know if we can call it ADP because nobody's drafting. It's their rankings, their whatever you call. It's like from 2 years ago. So just keep this in mind. Sleeper, great platform. We use Sleeper for all of our mock drafts. For our real drafts, we're doing. If you want to actually do best ball real drafts right now, you can. And of course, you know where that is. It's on Underdog. But besides that, whatever you're drafting, in Underdog, it's very up to date. All the people who are doing their drafts. In the Sleeper, it's not so much. So you're going to have to make sure you look. You have to scroll down to find some of these good players.
Yep. Yeah. And I think the only way you can use Dynasty ADP is if you set it to be a Dynasty draft.
Yeah. Looking, one thing also I do. There you go. Looks like it's filled, right?
All right. Yep. We are Phil Clayton. You're on the clock. 60 seconds per pick. Here we go. That was fast.
Of course, zero hesitation taking the 9er.
I keep honestly, I really am flip-flop between Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb. I'm gonna go Tyreek for that upside, but man, I like. It feels like every day, maybe not every day, but you ask me today, I say Tyreek Hill. You ask me tomorrow, I say Justin Jefferson. You ask me the day after, I say CeeDee Lamb.
And does it really matter? I mean, is there a bad pick there? No. I mean, it's not going to make or break you, I don't think. But it's crazy. Think about it. I think I had the 6 or 7 last week, and I was somehow gifted Tyreek Hill in the middle of the round. I don't know how, but yeah, either way, you got a good pick. All right. So Chase is going number 5. Sun God going number 6. That's kind of where you took him later than that last week.
Yeah, that's kind of where he generally goes, though. If we think about like underdog drafts, maybe a little later, because I think we see we see Bijan, I think maybe ahead of him. I know we see another running back ahead of him. I don't want to say names because they're not picked yet.
Yeah, I'm not taking. Okay, I was busy talking. What do you think about Puka? Is Puka like no doubt first round material?
I don't know if he's no doubt, but I think there's certainly a case to be made for him in the first round. I mean, he was so good last year, and you got to think he's going to be the number one guy there. Stafford, if he's healthy, McVay back. Yeah, Breece Hall was the running back I was thinking of. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh yeah, I think Puka is like has to go in the first round, but I'm not also going to say I think it's wrong.
Yeah, I think we'll see it a little bit more, especially when people start to realize Cooper Kupp maybe just is a little, just to say past his prime. Let's face it.
Yes.
There's nowhere to go but down after that season. But yeah, I think you got to admit Puka is it in that offense now. It wasn't just because of injury. It wasn't like a fluky thing. All right. I'll stick with this. Yeah, I was really hoping Garrett Wilson would fall to me. The thought very briefly occurred to me of going double RB there because it's half PPR and I had a shot, but it's like I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I think you could make a case like, with Gibbs still on the board and a couple other guys still on the board. I think there's definitely a case to be made there, but I think DJ Moore is fine as well.
Yeah, and half, what is up? Interflux. Half. It's not a huge difference. I mean, obviously, you're going to downgrade some of those pass catching running backs a little bit. Some guys who are, going to get by on volume, but still, I don't think you drastically alter anything in terms of rankings.
No, not drastically. I think I give running backs a slighter edge. But again, I'm not going to take a lesser running back if there's a stronger wide receiver on the board. It's not going to sway me, to go running back. But I think if I have a tough decision, like if there's two guys I really like, a running back and a wide receiver, I think in half I would probably lean running back. Whereas in full, I might lean wide receiver unless I, need a running back. Like maybe I went 0 RB and now it's like, okay, now I need a running back. But with all things being equal, I think in half PPR, I may lean slight running back, as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, exactly. Tiebreak situation. And we're only 10 teams today for this one. So there's going to be more depth than usual.
Yeah.
Still, just a reminder, anybody who is drafting on here right now, or if you're doing any sort of mock drafts and sleeper, make sure you scroll down and check all the rankings because they're not up to date.
Yeah. You're better off like going using another site's rankings.
Yeah.
Don't rely on sleeper.
Yeah, and it's a slightly different beast. I mean, it is half PPR and underdog, but best ball, you don't draft exactly the same on best ball as you would for redraft.
Right.
But it's still a pretty good gauge, right? You can tell how players are being valued. I mean, it's so early, everything's going to change anyways. What about it's not too early for some hot take here. Taysom
I really
Hill.
thought
Are we
Kyron was
pushing
going
him?
to fall to me. They said they make the first round. Yeah. All right. Kyron did not make
What's
it
up?
to.
Juice, by the way. Barter. What are the Barter Manias in the house?
What's up, Bartermania?
All right.
That didn't really help, but
Our team running backs go a little earlier.
I feel like Clayton will not take. I was between two players there, and I feel like Clayton will not take one of them, and I was right.
Well, you already knew without a doubt who one of the players he was taking was.
Yes.
we all saw that coming. But all right. H-Hand, very nice. It's gonna be very interesting to see where Stephon Diggs goes up until things change. If things change, are things going to change? Because we already hear now Gabe Davis not going to be back with the Bills. They already said goodbye and all that. Okay, whatever, fine. What about Diggs? Is Diggs just back to normal? And we've been hearing for a while stuff about him, maybe looking elsewhere. You think he's still a Bill?
I think he's still a Bill. I mean, can they really let Gabe and Diggs walk? Who are they going to replace him with? You know what I mean? Like, unless they're able to go out and like sign T. Higgins or something, or maybe they want to try to sign Mike Evans. But I mean, is that the wide receiver you're looking for? I mean, I guess he could be a Diggs replacement. They're pretty much both old wide receivers. But I mean, I've said how I feel about Stephon Diggs a few times now. My real issue with Stephon Diggs is not the situation. It's he was so bad last year. And look, it wasn't like one of these things where it's like, okay, he was bad in the fantasy playoffs or he had some bad games down the stretch. No, it was almost every single week, from week 10 on. It was like week 10. We're talking about half the season and into the playoffs. Like almost every single week he was bad. Like it's not like he's 24, 25, 26 and he was dealing with it, whatever. Dealing with an injury, dealing with bad. No, there was everything was there for Stephon Diggs except the results. Yeah, I just think we have to accept the real possibility that we have seen the best of Stephon Diggs and he's potentially on the decline.
Yeah, bum is a little harsh, but I get. Look,
Yeah,
I think
a little harsh.
What you have to realize is not that they're going to do nothing, that they're toast. Like no team wants it. They're not going to get anything. It's have we seen them peak? Are we going to get what we think we're going to get from them, or is it going to be the downswing of their career? In which case, they're probably going to be overdrafted. And that's the case. That's the real question: is are you getting good value for where they're going to be drafted? Probably not. I guess probably not.
Yeah, the thing is, how many 30-year-old wide receivers who have a down year and a significantly down year, not due to injury or quarterback play, bounce back from that. I'm sure there's probably been a guy or two. I don't know, but the odds are not in Diggs' favor, right? We're not talking about like a wide receiver in his prime anymore. I definitely worry that maybe Diggs has lost a bit of a step. And in the NFL, that's all it takes. You don't have to lose a lot.
Back to me already. That was quick. Okay.
Back to you already.
Well, it's been...
Hidden Truth was ready for those picks.
I guess I've seen his name enough. I'm just going to take him here. You got Nico, I'll go Tank.
Yeah, that's a good pick. For sure. I like Dell.
Frankie Knuckles, Dell over Diggs. You got Dell over Diggs?
I do. I'm just saying, like, you got to evaluate like ups. You got to like always be thinking upside versus risk. Like, does Diggs have significantly more upside than Dell? Does Diggs even have more upside than Dell? Dell was incredible when he was healthy last year. So I just think I think you're getting just as much upside with less risk of like a non-injury bust.
Yeah, good point. His initials are literally TD, so that does say it all.
There you go. Now you have to take him.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason he didn't finish as one of the top fantasy receivers is just because he got hurt. I mean, we don't know what he might have done in the second half. Stephon Diggs didn't do anything in the second half because they stopped throwing it to him.
It wasn't, but that's the thing. Like, it wasn't even they stopped throwing it to him. If you look at Diggs, he had plenty of games where he got 8, 9, 10, 11 targets, and he was still bad. That's what worries me. It's not like the Bills stopped throwing and just stopped throwing to Stephon Diggs or something. Like, no, he just like yes, his opportunities went down a little bit, but his production went down a lot. And that's what worries me is like, okay, have we seen the best of Stephon Diggs at this point? I mean, he's gonna easily be one of the most polarizing players this year for sure.
Oh yeah, again, assuming nothing else drastic changes. If he's still in the same situation, they don't bring in, somebody crazy to replace Gabe Davis, then yeah. And sorry, apologies, Anthony, but you did choose that spot, I believe. I don't know if you were the last one to pick, but you didn't have to be that close. Dell top 10? Yeah, maybe. Now, you did go Nico over Tank, so I assume that's how you're going to value them. Or you still think Nico's the top receiver in Houston?
I think so.
I do too.
Close. They're close for me, though. I mean, I don't. It wouldn't surprise me either way, honestly.
Well, you know what I'll say is what I always say. I'll take the guy that I can get later. Like if Nico's going the second round and Tank's going to the third round, I'll take Tank because I don't think there's a huge difference between them, and I'd rather take the better value. But we'll see.
All right.
All right, what you doing here? Mike Evans and Rashee Rice. All right, I actually considered Rice. I mean, I was going to take him over Tank, but I think he's up there. He's kind of up there with those guys.
Yeah, I think he's up there in that range. I don't like on underdog right now. He's going like late second, or at least he was. Let's see, has he dropped at all?
That's too much.
Yeah, that's too much. No, he's going pick 21 on underdog. That to me is too much. I don't think he has overall? That kind of ceiling. What's that?
21 overall?
21 overall on underdog. That seems crazy to me.
That's insane.
But I think here in this range, more than fair. Probably too low, honestly.
Yeah, like I said, when I started to think about him was round 4. And, if Tank wasn't there, and I might have taken a couple of guys maybe instead of him, but that's where I started to look at him. But yeah, 21. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. It's not like he had a record-setting rookie season, and it's not as if, the Chiefs, of course, they're not going to bring any receivers in. They didn't last year. They never do. It doesn't mean they're not going to this year. I mean, I think maybe they finally will say, okay, let's give it a shot. And maybe it's a guy like a Darnell Mooney or a Gabe Davis, like someone who's not a big game changer, but it's still something.
Oh man, I would love if Gabe Davis went to the Chiefs, the chaos, the just people talking themselves into Gabe Davis again.
Oh, right. Oh. His ADP would then be higher than right. It would be top 20.
It would be ridiculous.
Top 20 guarantee.
I want that just for the chaos. Give me that just for the chaos.
Yeah. I'm here for it. All right. Joku. So we got 5 tight ends off the board. That makes it easier for me to not take a tight end.
Yeah, tight ends going early. Going very early.
And I learned my lesson. I know I could wait on QB, and I definitely can still wait on QB. So, these rankings. All right. Well, let's see. Let's talk running back. I'm about to take a running back.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, let's see hidden truths. Okay, that was between those two guys, Cook, Pacheco, pretty similar. The pick before, he took Kenneth Walker, and Mystic Flame was saying here, thinking a little early. Does that feel early for Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, I probably would still take Pacheco and maybe James Cook over him, honestly. Probably, and I would definitely take Rachaad White over him.
Yeah. Yeah, a little early for Walker in general, but also because there's other running backs who probably should be going ahead of him.
Yeah, but I don't think, I mean, look, I don't think it's crazy early. The issue with Kenneth Walker is what it will always be. He's given you very little in the passing game. So when he doesn't have, when he doesn't score a touchdown and put up a huge rushing game, you're getting very little, right? The floor is very low.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the worry there. Whereas at least, Pacheco, no, he's not a monster pass catcher, but he got more involved in the receiving game last year. We know Cook catches passes. We definitely know Rachaad White catches passes. That's why I put those guys ahead of him, because the floor is, you get a better floor with those guys, right? If how many times last year did we see Rachaad White rush for like 40 yards and still get you, 15 plus fantasy points?
Yeah. Yeah. Now
Kenneth Walker will never rush for 40 yards and get you 15 plus fantasy points unless he runs for 40 yards and scores 2 touchdowns. That's like the only way.
Yeah, he's a little more touchdown dependent. It'll actually be interesting. It's going to be hard to know how to value him with all the coaching changes in Seattle.
That's true.
We'll see what the offense looks like. We really don't know. I mean, you feel like they should have been able to get more out of that offense than they did in general, but I don't know if they really can. You still got Geno Smith at quarterback. He's fine, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, actually, I was going to say this earlier. I don't want to help anybody out because this is a competition. But when you're also filtering on Sleeper and you have no idea how to value rookies either, but the rookies aren't going to show up. So if you do want to think about taking a rookie early, put that rookies only. You can see that right there. The rookies filter. So can't forget about the rookies. So right now, with absolutely no idea what to make of the rookies and where they're going to play, like where are you taking those guys? Not Marvin Harrison Jr. We already said that he should be early, super early. But what about like the neighbors, the Odunzes?
Yeah, I think neighbors should be up there as well. And probably Odunze. I feel like Odunze is kind of, I don't want to say being slept on, but the fact that Marvin Harrison is like a 2nd round pick and Neighbors is a 3rd round pick and Odunze is like not even like going in the first 6 or 7 rounds usually, I feel like that's not really right. Because we could see, I mean, look, I think we all pretty much know that that Marvin Harrison Jr. will be the top wide receiver drafted in this draft. That's not a secret. But there's no guarantee Neighbors is the number 2 wide receiver taken. Like, I don't think that like it's just a lock that Neighbors is the next wide receiver off the board. I can definitely see Odunze being the next wide receiver off the board. So, and if he is, his ADP is going to jump up probably ahead of Neighbors. Obviously, it's going to depend on where they land. I mean, obviously, if Odunze gets picked by the Titans, let's say, right? And then maybe a little bit later on, Neighbors gets picked into a better spot. then sure, maybe Neighbors will still go ahead of him. But I certainly think Odunze right now, in relation to Neighbors and Marvin Harrison, is being way undervalued.
Good point. Which, by the way, thank you for taking two of the guys I was eyeing this coming draft. I knew if I didn't take AR, you'd probably take him. That's still. Why take Lamar Jackson in round 3 when you can get Anthony Richardson in round 6?
Why take Lamar Jackson in round 3 or Anthony Richardson in round 6 when you can get Jaden Daniels off the waiver wire?
Wow. We'll see. We're not going to see any rookie quarterbacks, I don't think, taken in these drafts. Maybe. But why not? I mean, do you think Jaden Daniels is the next Anthony Richardson, who we think is going to be the next Lamar Jackson?
Not really. Well, Jaden Daniels is interesting to me because I think he's nothing like Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson might be the most. Like, Anthony Richardson to me is more like Justin Fields. Like, this incredible athlete, freak runner, and a good enough thrower of the football, but nothing special as a thrower. I think people look at Jaden Daniels and they just look at him as this running quarterback, but he's actually an incredible passer. And he's great in the pocket as far as like going through his progressions. And what's really kind of ironic about Jaden Daniels, he was one of the worst at sack avoidance in college, even though he's this incredible athlete, because he's such a good passer that he's actually a guy who's not a guy who's like, okay, I'm going to look to run and, like, okay, I'm going to snap the ball. If I don't see anything, I'm just going to look to run. He's the opposite. Like, instead of running when maybe he should, he's like, no, I'm going to stand in the pocket and go through my progressions to see if I can find somebody. And so Jaden Daniels is, in my opinion, a much better passer coming out of college than Anthony Richardson. Definitely Anthony Richardson was, and even than Lamar was. And I don't think he's quite as athletically gifted as those guys were. So, yeah. I don't know who to really compare him to. Like,
yeah, he's going to be really hard, I think, to evaluate until we know what kind of system he's going to be in and how he's going to be used. And, when you say that Justin Fields comp, for some people, that's scary. They're like, okay, well, we don't really still even know after a couple of years what to make of Justin Fields, right? We don't even know where he's going to play yet next year. Let's see. Hold on. I know some people are hating on him, but I don't care. I'm in on Blake Corum.
There you go. There's going to be some running backs in this class. Everybody just thinks these running backs are terrible and they're not going to be any good, but there are going to be some running backs that produce in this class this year. There's no Bijan, Saquon Barkley, CMC types, but there's still good running backs in this class. And it's just, I think because there are so many good wide receivers in this class and quarterbacks, that people are just kind of overlooking the running backs, but there are talented running backs in this class, and there are going to be some rookie running backs next year that produce for sure.
Oh yeah, exactly. But you're gonna have to dig a little harder to find them. But yeah, Corum, it just feels like he's a guy. I mean, all the Michigan players, right, who are coming out, people are gonna find ways to bump up, say, they've been undervalued this whole time, and just now we're starting to feel, find out about them. And then some people are like, yeah, they're way overrated. Like, I feel like Corum more than anybody of all these rookies, I find people are like cherry picking stats and reasons to hate on him. Like, oh, he was a bum until last year. Like, oh, he's not explosive, and just all these things. Like, come on, just watch him play. I think you sometimes can overthink it and galaxy brain yourself out of looking at a good running back and just thinking that he's not going to be a good pro. And of course, that does happen. There's plenty of running backs who have busted in the pros, but I don't know. It's him and JJ McCarthy. It's like there is no in between on them, right? People are either finding a reason to love them or hate them.
Yeah, I will say Blake Corum, as a Michigan fan, 2 years ago, he was on track to potentially win the Heisman Trophy, and he was looking great, right? I mean, I don't know if he would have won the Heisman Trophy, but he was on track. He was explosive. And remember, he tore his knee in the Was it the playoff game against TCU? Or was it the game? No, it was the game before. It was the week before. And then he tried to play in the game against TCU and couldn't. So, yeah, of course he's not going to be as explosive coming back from a major knee injury like that. But I'll tell you one thing about Blake Corum that I don't think he gets near enough credit for, and is going to be great for him. Let me make this pick real quick.
Yeah, and I've seen that used against him to say, "Oh, he hasn't been the same post injury. He just doesn't have that burst anymore." Like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, so he's just gone. Because he's so old. It's like we give all these
forever.
guys the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, he'll be fine after the torn Achilles. He'll bounce back. But this guy who haven't even hit the pros yet, everyone's finding reasons to. Oh, his breakout age was so late. It's like what?
Yeah, I will say, but the one thing that's going to be great for fantasy that I think a lot of people don't talk about, he has great hands, great pass catching, and he just knows how to get open. Like there's certain running backs, like I hate always picking on the same running. I'll use Kenneth Walker as an example, so I'm not always picking on like Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. Like there's guys like Kenneth Walker that are great real life runners. And yes, people like to say, oh, he can catch. Yeah, of course he can catch, right? He can catch, but he doesn't know how to run a route. He doesn't know how to get open. If they say like, okay, you're just going to be the safety valve here, he's just a safety valve. Like watch Christian McCaffrey when he's not getting the ball. He actually knows how to run routes and get open and find spaces and make linebackers go the wrong way. Like guys like Kenneth Walker, Nick Chubb, they can't do that. Blake Corum can do that. He knows how to get open. He's got great hands. I think he's going to be an underrated pass catcher in the NFL at the NFL level. And I don't really hear a lot of people talking about his pass catching because, like you said, they're so worried about these, I guess, minor things like, breakout age, explosiveness, which, stuff's important, but man.
Yeah, but you can't just look at one or two of these stats, these telling stats, and just assume, I don't know.
All right, I know we just did a video with him on the cover, but I feel like this is too low for George Kittle.
Yes. I am kind of shocked that, nobody's taken him. Like, we saw Brock Bowers just go off the board, and we did talk about him recently.
It's because we just did a video with George Kittle on the thumbnail about don't ignore these warning signs.
But
and then I just took George Kittle. But I mean, look, we're
yeah. That's exactly what we say, though. It's like none of these guys are completely undraftable.
Right.
Okay, but actually, I'm going to go back to your previous pick because there was a question about Najee Harris. Is Arthur Smith a dream for him or anybody, or more like a nightmare?
More like a nightmare. I mean, look, if Bijan Robinson, if he wasn't a dream for Bijan Robinson, how is he going to be a dream for Najee Harris? Now I get I get the thought process here, like he likes to run the ball, but the problem is he likes to run the ball with everybody. Whether it's a 33-year-old punt returner, whether it's a 5th round plodding running back who looks like he's dragging a tractor trailer behind him when he runs, whether it's a backup tight end. It doesn't matter, Arthur Smith. He'll run anybody. Go run the football. So I don't know. I do agree with the second part of where you said I think he's a better player than he's given credit for. Najee Harris is a better player than he gets credit for. Najee Harris was actually good last year. I'm not going to say Najee Harris was elite, but he was actually good last year. And one of the things that really helped in the second half was their offensive lineman, I forget his name, the one they drafted, got healthy and really transformed that offensive line into a much better run blocking offensive line. I can't think of the guy's name for the Steelers. But anyways, so I certainly think Najee will be okay, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to see rookie year Najee Harris again. But I'll happily take him in what round is that? Round 8? Yeah, I'll happily take him in round 8.
Yeah, he's your RB3, and I think as long as he's your RB3 or later, fine. Not your starter. Okay. A lot of old guys out there.
Yeah, there's a reason. There is a reason.
So let's go with the rookie. Actually, I had my eye on Brian Thomas, but I guess he didn't make it to me.
Yeah. People are really high on Brian Thomas right now. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I can see why. I mean, he could wind up being one of the best receivers in this class, but when the hype gets too much and people get too high, that's when, I might start to back off.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, but he's one of these guys like, how many of these guys have we seen? These freaks, right? These just physical freaks who aren't necessarily, great route runners. But man, they're freaks. How many of these guys do we actually see pan out at the next level? I know it's easy to fall in love with the size, with the speed,
right? Polish.
All that stuff. And look, an NFL team will probably fall in love with that because they do every year. They can't help themselves. They do every year because maybe he'll be the one, right? Maybe he'll be one of the. And look, it's not like they all bust. We've seen plenty of guys do it. And I told but at the same time, it's like, man, we've seen a lot of these guys.
Yeah, that's my concern. If there's a concern with him that he's a little bit like Terrace Marshall-ish.
Yes, that's the thing. You see, these guys, right? Exactly.
So talking about rookies, Hector wants to know about Dynasty content in the offseason. Yeah, we already have a couple of videos up Dynasty related.
Yeah, we definitely do Dynasty content as well. We do both. All right.
Let's see. We also have baseball content. Different channel, though. So if Anthony is getting back into it, you can absolutely hit me up. If anybody wants to try fantasy baseball, check out Fantasy Endgame MLB. Got multiple videos every single week. 3 or 4 now? It's getting into draft season. It's not too late. Check it out. Anthony, you can hit me up for sure. You can just he's on the Discord, right? You can hit me on Discord.
Yep. He's on Discord.
What is up, Brian?
What's up, Brian?
All right. So we're going 13 rounds, round 10 right now. The rookies are starting to fly off the board. Let me see. You have no rookies yet.
No rookies yet. I'm not gonna have another one here because I think. Yeah, I'm surprised this guy's still on the board.
Yeah, how did I miss that? Well, I know how I missed it because I didn't scroll all the way down.
I don't know how you missed that.
Yeah, he was buried under Rashad Penny and Zeke.
He was buried, yes. He was definitely buried. All right, I'll go a rookie here. Actually, let me see. Hold on. Are there... Oh, he's gone already. Somebody took him? Or do I have to go... Wow, somebody took him already? This is a problem. I'm not... All right, never mind. Turn that off. Who's available here? Well, now I'm not ready because I thought I knew who I was taking. That's not who I was taking. Now I got to scroll a little bit. Let's see. There's time, 20 seconds. You know what? I'll gamble on Hollywood. I'll gamble on Hollywood here.
Yeah, I think he's going. I'm surprised how late he's going. I mean, he was hurt at the end of the season. It's not like he just fell off. He wasn't like the Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and I think the other thing people are worried about is
Harrison.
if he's not on Arizona next year, where is he? Is he going to be in a good situation, or is he going to be in a bad situation?
Yeah, well, that's fair.
But again, we're in round. What are we in? Round 11 here.
Yeah, exactly. Your fourth, fifth receiver. So the problem now, there's too many guys I want to draft. I still need a quarterback. How many people? Let me see. One, two, three people need a quarterback besides me. But we already know Clayton's going to take Brock Purdy. So
Marquise Brown in Kansas City. If Marquise Brown signed with Kansas City, what round is he being drafted in?
Whatever round it is, it's too soon. But I could see him going in round 4.
Yeah, that's what I think. 4, probably round 4.
There you go. Thank you for taking Tua. That's okay.
Tua.
That's okay. I wanted Rashawn anyways. All right. Got no problem with Dak.
Yep, Dak's fine as long as it's not the real life playoffs, which you don't have to worry about.
Exactly. Quarterback. Wow, there's still. Actually, even now, I'm disappointed I didn't scroll down farther in quarterbacks. I didn't think I needed to, but yeah, there's still 3 quarterbacks I would be perfectly happy with.
Yeah, you probably should just. What do we got? 2. Well, you have 1 pick left. I mean, it's fine.
I got 1 pick left. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, a little slightly evil, but that's okay. Look, if I really wanted to, I could have got him sooner. I know that. I know.
Wow, CJ Stroud
started by Cowboys.
CJ Stroud in the 12th.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. CJ Stroud was down there, of course, buried under Daniel Jones, so I didn't bother to look.
Rumors circulating Saquon looking at Dallas as a landing spot. That would be something. Oh man. Yeah, that'd be great for Saquon. Obviously, I guess that would mean they're letting Tony Pollard walk.
Yeah,
they do that.
I don't know. I mean, how much does that boost Saquon? I mean, it's got to, because he's actually playing behind a real offensive line and first rounder
in a real offense that actually scores touchdowns.
Good point. Yeah, Saquon, first round pick if he's in the Cowboys uniform.
I don't think so. Not for me. But also, two times a year you're gonna get. You're getting huge fantasy games because for 2 times a year when he plays the Giants, Saquon Barkley is going to destroy them.
Good point. Saquon to Chargers. I mean, yeah, we already know they're going to run the ball a ton because they basically said they're going to run the ball a ton. And, Quentin Johnson looks like a bust, and Mike Williams coming off injury, and who knows if he'll be back. Keenan Allen getting older, also hurt. Who knows with him? So, yeah, this is why, honestly, right now, I'm just going to say I'll go all in on Blake Corum because I'm just assuming that the Chargers will draft him.
Come on.
Maybe they will.
Yeah,
but if not, whoever's the running back in not San Diego, in LA, yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, Chargers a dream landing spot for any running back not named Austin Eckler.
Saquon to the Texans. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm hearing that one too. I mean, look, that's not Texans a great spot too. Like, look, Dameon Pierce is obviously showed why he was a 5th round pick, and Devin Singletary, like, okay, he's nice, but come on, he's not Saquon. Like, that's a good spot too. Texans, Chargers, obviously Cowboys if they don't, bring back Pollard. Ravens, because you got J.K. Dobbins coming off Achilles, Keaton Mitchell coming off ACL, Gus Edwards is just Gus Edwards. That's a good spot for running backs this year.
Yeah, I can't think of any team where Saquon would go where I wouldn't say it's an upgrade over the Giants. So either way, you're good. Maybe Baltimore, I'd worry a little bit just because he'll get some touchdowns taken away by Lamar, but still,
yeah, but it'll even out with the touchdowns Lamar actually creates for that offense. Yeah, and that's the thing with a guy like Saquon, wherever he signs, he's the guy. Like, you don't have to worry about the team drafting a running back early. It's like, nah, Saquon is getting be signed to be the guy.
Yeah, this fair enough. Brian saying that QJ obviously very young, one of the younger receivers from last year's class, only 1 year, a lot of changes, new coach. Maybe he just needs the new coaching staff. You think Harbaugh coaches him up and he's a buy low?
I will say this about Quentin Johnson. So there's not a lot of wide receivers who played as much as he did in year one, ran the amount of routes he did, the snaps and everything, and the opportunity he did in year one, had as bad a production as he did and ended up being great. But there is one. At least one recently. There's probably more if you go way back, but I only went back to like 2010. There's one guy. And their numbers are actually very, very, very similar, like almost eerily similar. And they're kind of similar players and build. It's Davante Adams. They had almost the same numbers their first year, played almost the same amount of snaps. But the thing is, it took Davante Adams a few years, right? It wasn't until like year 4 that Davante Adams, and Davante Adams was one of these guys. I remember one of these guys that everybody loved. Everybody loved his talent, but he couldn't put it together. And then finally, at some point, he developed into one of the best receivers in the game. So I think if there's hope for QJ, it's Davante Adams. But that's it. Nobody else. Everybody else that had the similar profile to that ended up being a total bust. So maybe, but yeah, definitely risky.
Right. So yeah, there's a chance. There's always a chance, but the question is how good of a chance. Buy low. If you can buy low, sure. I just don't know how low you're getting him right now. In Dynasty, it's always worth it, right? Especially if you're rebuilding. But in redrafts, I'm just pretending he doesn't exist. All right. And yeah, I just got to put this Murray round 13, and seems pretty good. Like I said, there are a lot of quarterbacks. You really didn't need to drop one. Love is a guy. I'm curious to see how do you value him going into next year. I mean, he doesn't have the rushing upside like of a Kyler Murray, but he was pretty good. CJ Stroud going crazy late. To me, it's hard to believe. Did just Justin Herbert even get drafted? Yes, he did. Okay. A lot of quarterback values, but let's go through the teams one by one real quick. Team 1. That's Clayton. Took CMC. Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 2nd round, technically, before Brandon Ayuk. Too high?
Clayton's taking Harrison and Ayuk there.
All right. You like Harrison as a 2nd round pick?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think he's got that kind. I mean, look, think back to like Jamar Chase rookie year. Think back to Justin Jefferson rookie year. Those guys were worth 2nd round picks. They didn't necessarily get drafted in the 2nd round those years, but they ended up being worth 2nd round picks. Marvin Harrison's got that kind of potential. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't hate it, and picking at the end there, you want Harrison, you got to take him there. So yeah, that's a nice duo. Drake London, Trey McBride, Odunze, got Derrick Henry / Jalen Warren as the RB2, Pickens, Chase Brown, Deontay Johnson, somebody in on the Steelers offense, Cortland Sutton, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, can't really argue with this team. I mean, got Kyler late. I know he loves Trey McBride. I know he loves Harrison and Ayuk. You got CMC. Got decent depth behind those guys. Well done.
Yeah, actually just realized you got the Murray McBride stack. I kind of like that, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Chris, you got the 2. You took Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Achane. Again, I see you. 2 Dolphins. Mike Evans, Rashee Rice, AR, Spears, Najee, Kittle, B-Rob, Marquise Brown, Chuba, and Jameson Williams. I like a lot of these picks. A lot of these are my guys. I like, of course, Achane, Tyreek Hill, Spears. I can't believe Spears actually fell that far now that I think about it. Spears was taken after Aaron Jones and Kamara. So I like that pick. Overall, feel pretty good. You went, I guess, anchor RB with Achane. Do you feel like he's an anchor?
We'll see. I feel like he can be, but I feel like I got a lot of good value in this draft. I feel like, Evans probably too low, Rice probably too low. It's like you said, Spears too low, Najee definitely too low, Kittle too low, Brian Robinson probably too low, Hollywood probably too low. So, yeah, I feel like I got, if nothing else, I got a lot of good value in this draft.
Yeah, definitely some good values. I'd be happy with Brian Robinson as my RB2. You got him as your RB4. So that's pretty good. Deceiving fraud, is that what that is? Okay.
Something deceiving fraud? I don't know. It's a picture of
deceiving
Sam Howell. It's a picture of Sam Howell.
Fraud would make sense. All right, we got Justin Jefferson, Etienne, Diggs, and Metcalf, Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Ramondre, Ridley, Ingram, Hopkins, Justin Herbert, Jacoby Myers, Wan'Dale Robinson. I like that Wan'Dale Robinson pick late. Do you like this team?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's certainly some guys in here I'm nervous about, like Diggs and Metcalf, Aaron Jones, Stevenson, Ridley, Hopkins, of course. But I think Hopkins a little bit later, so that's okay. Yeah, those guys make me a little bit nervous as far as, have we seen the best of them? What will their roles be? But they should at least be solid. I don't know. Maybe that's how I feel. I feel like this team is kind of solid, but it doesn't scream like major upside.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I think the wide receiver room, obviously, besides Justin Jefferson, maybe doesn't have as high a ceiling. It's a little more veteran. I like this running back room, maybe the best out of anybody. Like you have 4 running backs who could be starters for you every given week. Herbert, I'll tell you, I was in on Herbert last year, and he helped me to a first place standing for half the year until he got hurt. But I'm out on Herbert this year. I just am. So we'll see. At least for now. Arjun went with CeeDee Lamb, Kyron, Josh Allen, Kelsey in round 4. Zay, Kamara, Jaden Reed, Burrow, and then some running back depth. I like the running back depth. And then Kyle Pitts to back up Kelsey.
Well, I mean, not a bad strategy. Hopefully you don't have 2 tight end busts next year with that. But I definitely like the Lamb pick, and Kyron I thought was great value. I was really hoping Kyron would somehow fall to me. That's great value. I don't mind Kelsey there. I mean, are we ready to take other tight ends over Kelsey yet, other than Laporta, of course? I mean, I know we're taking Laporta over, but are we really, are we taking Andrews over Kelsey? Are we taking McBride? I mean, Njoku? Are we ready to take those guys over Kelsey yet? I don't think so. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, and I definitely I think the one pick I'm gonna say didn't need to be done was a Joe Burrow pick when you have Josh Allen, but you probably just thought it was too good a value. But I do like those 4 running backs. I actually contemplated taking Mixon over Kittle, where I took Kittle. I just felt like that was too low even for Mixon, even though Mixon also was on our warning video today.
Right, but there comes a point where you just don't let a guy fall.
Right.
Yeah, in this format, you don't need the backup quarterback or the backup tight end, but it's not killing you. Yeah, there's no receiver depth here. I mean, I think he literally has 3 receivers, and that's it. So that would be the only thing. Should have taken more receivers. What about Seven Rock, which is team 5? Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Mahomes in round 3. Keenan Allen in round 4. Andrews in round 5. Cup, Eckler, Swift, Javante, Charbonnet, QJ, Chandler, Jones. I feel is very veteran early and very young late.
Yeah, this team's a bit hit or miss for me. I don't know. Like Chase, obviously fine, totally fine with that. I don't know if I'm ready to take Devontae Adams in the middle of the second round again, especially with so much talent at wide receiver still on the board. And then I think Cup, even though Cup was on the video today, I think if you're getting Cup in the 6th round, that's fine. Eckler, Swift, Javante, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of this draft was kind of hit or miss for me. I feel like he usually drafts like teams I usually really like. This one just feels a little hit or miss for me.
Yeah, it's it's a 0 RB team that I look at it because Eckler was the first one taken in round 7. So I mean, if you think about it, if you would have told anybody last year, hey, we're gonna draft a 0 RB team and I'm gonna wait to get Austin Eckler, like he'd be doing backflips. It's DeAndre Swift is RB2, but I don't know. This really is this is one of those teams I have no idea right now how to value because
Right.
a lot of it depends on what happens with Eckler and what happens with Swift. Is he going to be back?
Yep.
And yeah. All right, Xavier Lopez is next. Got Sun God, JT, Olave, Laporta, Addison, Jason, Brock Bowers, David Montgomery, Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman, Brooks Stroud, and Irvin.
I mean, obviously CJ Stroud. I mean, that's got to be the best pick of the entire draft. You're getting a guy who's being valued as like a top 6 quarterback right now, top 7 quarterback, and you're getting him in the second to the last round. So that was a great pick. Of course, the other thing that stands out here is like, why are you taking the top tight end off the board and then taking a rookie tight end 3 picks later? Especially in a 10-team league like this where you're going to be able, if you need to, you're going to be able to find tight ends on the waiver wire. I think, there's still good players on the board. I mean, right, James Conner, Christian Watson, Chris Godwin, Tony Pollard, Terry McLaurin. Like, there's still good players on the board when you took Brock Bowers there. So I think you got the steal of the draft and then also like the most confusing combination of the draft.
Yeah, and that's the thing for like team 4 and team 6. The point of drafting a guy like Laporta or Kelsey early is that you never have to think about tight end the rest of the season ever again.
Right.
Like that's why you do it. You're gonna have one of the top, if not the top, scorers at the position, and you never have to think about picking up or anything. Like that's it,
Right.
set and forget. So you don't have to draft a backup. But again, that's not the worst thing. I mean, maybe who knows? Maybe Brock Bowers will be so good as a rookie that he'll be your flex every season.
Yeah, but then you know what problem you have? Because this was a common thing last year, which was really strange and not something that a normal occurrence. How many times did we get questions where people were like, Sam Laporta or Trey McBride this week? And it's like,
Yeah.
How do you have both those guys? Well, you had both of them because they were both waiver wire pickups, right?
Right.
So, like, what are you going to do if Sam Laporta is great and Brock Bowers is great? And then you got to now you have to decide, who do I start? Who do I sit? I mean, maybe you could try to trade them. But again, to me, the whole point here is that you took a pick. Again, like you can't, I mean, maybe you could, I could flex one of these guys. Okay, are tight ends really flex worthy? Like, are you going to flex a tight end over like Tony Pollard, James Conner, Terry McLaurin?
Yeah, exactly. But again, that's remains to be seen where Bowers lands. Will definitely go a long way. Anthony is next. Got Bijan, Devontae Smith, Waddle, T. Higgins, Mari Cooper, Jacobs and Chubb, McLaurin, Hawk, Dobbins, Lawrence, Mike Williams, and Dallas Goedert. Now, of course, if you draft Hawkinson, then yeah, it makes sense to draft a second tight end.
Also, I don't even mind having the second tight end when you have Laporta. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but again, I'd prefer you just wait and get a later tight end and get a player of more value where you took Bowers. But anyways, we're on to Anthony here. So, but yeah, in this case, when you get Hawkinson, who's probably going to miss the first half of the season, and who knows, maybe even more, you need to back him up. But anyways, Bijan, Devonta Smith definitely feels very early to me. I like Devonta Smith, but I don't know if he'd be my pick there. But I like Waddle, Higgins, Cooper. I think that's fine. You got Jacobs. You're not scared of the ACLs, apparently, because you took Nick Chubb as well. I think Terry McLaurin could potentially be a huge value in these drafts right now because Commanders at number 2 pick are either going to get Drake May or Jaden Daniels, or they're going to somehow swing a trade to get Caleb Williams at the number 1 pick. So I think Terry McLaurin is being very undervalued right now. And then you got J.K. Dobbins. So ACL, Achilles, give him, and Mike Williams. Give Anthony all of them, all the season enders.
Yeah, we'll just the logo for this team should be a blue tent, right? Like a blue minnow.
Yes.
Or a cast. Yeah, Chubb and Dobbins. We'll see how that goes. But hey, I think getting Jacobs there was great as your RB2. You got the anchor of Bijan. I love the first half of this draft. The second half, took some swings on some older players, but we'll see how that goes. But he's saying it didn't even go the way he wanted to. That's right. It is another disability team.
That's right.
Think about that. All right, let's go to Interflux. Went Puka first, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Saquon. It's pretty nice. Debo and Njoku. You like Njoku in round 5. I mean, went after those first 4 tight ends, but what do you think? We're seeing Njoku now go pretty early.
Yeah, I can't do it personally. Remember, Njoku didn't start really going off until Joe Flacco became the QB. We'll see with Watson. I don't dislike Njoku. I just think I feel like that's pretty high. But I will say this: those first 4 picks are fantastic. I mean, Puka, Gibbs, Barkley, and Debo Samuel in the 4th, and then you got Lamar in the 6th. I mean, those 6 picks I think make up for taking Njoku in the 5th round. And it's not that I don't like Njoku, but you can just get Evan Ingram in the 9th, Kittle in the 9th, and Kincaid. I don't know if he's going to be significantly better than those guys. But man, the other 5 picks of the top 6 were phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great start for sure. The thing with Njoku, again, like you said, it was with Joe Flacco that he had that kind of breakout. I've always loved Njoku because he's from the U. But they've been saying pretty openly Cleveland's looking for help at receiver. That might eat into Njoku's target share a little bit. But anyways, other picks are great here. Godwin, Pollard, Troy Franklin, Mostert, Tua. Thank you very much. And then Tyler Lockett and Dobbs at the end. Actually, I was thinking about taking Dobbs with my last pick, so you kind of sniped me there too. But yeah, good bench too.
Yeah, overall, very good draft.
All right. And then there's me. I went Brees first. DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Pacheco, Kirk, Connor Corum, Kincaid, Polk, Rashawn Johnson, Dak is my QB, and Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, I don't really see anything I don't like about this draft. Like I said, if you can just get a guy like Kincaid that late, why not? Especially if Gabe Davis is gone. If Diggs isn't elite anymore, we could see, more Kincaid this year. I really like where you got Pacheco. Brees Hall going, barely in the first round is good value. I like those wide receivers. Yeah, got Dak late. Although, of course, you should have taken Stroud, but you didn't scroll down.
Could have taken Stroud. Yeah, but that's okay. Splitting hairs there. Yeah, I actually like it. I like the way this team turned out a fair bit. And then Hidden Truths, AJB, Garrett Wilson. It's funny. We saw that a lot at the turn last year, and it kind of still there. Neighbors in round 3. Talked about him earlier. You good with Neighbors there?
Yeah, I think right now it's fine. Obviously, after the draft, it could change, but I think right now it's fine.
Yeah, and I'm big on Neighbors, so I'll say I definitely have him as my wide receiver 2 as of right now. So, and again, if you waited, you probably weren't going to get him on the way back, so that's fine. Kenneth Walker, we talked about. James Cook, Hurts, going pretty late, I think. Watson, Dotson, Kendre Miller, Estime, Downs, Singletary, and a rookie tight end, Tavian Sanders.
All right, this year's Sam Laporta. Maybe. Or maybe another rookie tight end that struggles. Yeah, I don't know if I'm taking a rookie tight end as my tight end, but I will say outside of that, I really like this draft. I know we had the whole Kenneth Walker thing, but if you flip James Cook and Kenneth Walker, I think it's fine. Right? Like if you had taken James Cook at the 4-1 and then Kenneth Walker at the 5, it's fine. So whatever. Hurts, yeah, great value. Watson, Dotson, Kendre, I like. Estemi, is that how you pronounce it? Audric Estemi, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I like him. How is it?
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna make something up.
Yeah, you know me. I'm terrible with names, but I like him as a prospect. I think he could definitely surprise. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year. So other than, taking a rookie tight end as your tight end 1, I really like this draft.
I would assume Estime, but I'm not sure. But I'm just generally out on Notre Dame running backs anyway. So, yeah, pretty good. And the rookie tight end, fine, take a flyer there. Like normally you should have been able to get a guy like a Pittsburgh Goddard your last pick, but got some teams took 2 tight ends. But there's plenty left on waivers for you, so not a problem. The Walker pick's the only one. Again, it's not bad. I love Kenneth Walker, but I would have definitely taken like Rachaad White first. But definitely got some good values there in the middle rounds. So we'll see. All right, that's it. We're gonna do this again next week. We'll do some mock drafts. Let's see, all off season long, every single week. How about that? And we're also gonna do some underdog drafts, some best ball. So check it out if you haven't already. Friendly reminder, because I think probably almost everybody around here is already on underdog. But if you aren't, for some reason, you're watching for the first time, just didn't know. We do partner with Underdog, and that's why we use them all the time, because they're also a great site. If you want to draft right now, a real draft, you can do best ball on Underdog right now. But if you are new, you sign up, just make sure you use that promo code. It's endgame, because you get a deposit match 100% up to $100. And they always have specials. And oh yeah, basketball, baseball, hockey, every other sport that exists, they have pick'ems and drafts for that too. So check it out. If you think it's too early, I'm not ready to draft for football. Well, you can draft for any other sport that you happen to watch, and that includes baseball. All right, all good. Pretty happy with my team. Let's everyone have a great night, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yes.